This is scary. Hi everybody, welcome to Monsterhearts Session 8. Just a reminder to my players, as always, make each main character's life not boring, keep the story feral, say what the rules demand, and say what honesty demands. Steve Taylor. It's been some hours since you left your friends, and you tucked your phone slyly into Scotty's pocket, hoping to slip away as stealthily as possible. If you would have rolled a stealth check, you would have gotten easily a 13 or above. Easily. You are a level 1 after all. As you made your way through the woods opposite of the mausoleum, farther than you've ever gone before, even on school field trips, you feel the crunch of dead leaves and decaying moss under your feet. You smell the rich soil as you get further and further in, the wind blowing. Is that fresh cut grass that you smell? It is summer still. Not quite Labor Day weekend. Oh, the art fair. Oh no. You're gonna miss the art fair. You don't really know where you're going or what you're looking for. Only that Ronnie is missing. Your best friend since you can't really even remember when you became friends. She's just always been there. She's just always been a part of you, and you've grown up together, and when Becca moved into the neighborhood, you easily engulfed her into your little group, and Scotty, who came in middle school. These are your friends. These are your people. You absentmindedly reach in to pull out your phone and realize, oh, you left it. You don't have a watch. You don't have any way to tell time. You don't even have your book with you. You suddenly begin to realize that deeper and deeper you get into this woods, that this isn't like adventuring at all. Can't roll a dice to decide what you're gonna do. You can't make a check to gain information. As soon as you realize that, you become more alert, more anxious. In the distance, you see a dark shadow just as the sun starts to set. The only way you can tell what time it is from the setting sun. The shadow passes you, padding away, and you know that a wolf just passed you. And that wasn't the same sound that you heard that night in the woods. For the first time, you are 100% sure that whatever did what it did the night that you and your friends went into the woods was not wolves. You come to a stop as night clears. You can't see 5 feet in front of you. If you only had dark vision. You stop in a semi-cleared area, and you look up, and it's a cool summer night. You can see stars poking through the trees. The brightest you've ever seen when you're away from the lights of the city. If you really, really try hard, you can hear the distant sounds of cars and sirens and train tracks. But it feels like it's engulfing you. It doesn't feel like it's coming from any direction. You are alone in this woods. What do you do?
I think that I just happened to stumble into a tree. I need to choose from. Find the one nearest me. Put my back to it, and I just fall down, putting my knee on my chest, and I reach into my pocket. Correct me if I'm wrong, I do think, perhaps it's dead, I'm sure it is, but I do think I have Ronnie's phone.
You do. There, oh my god, a text from Ronnie's phone. Just kidding. That would have been so cool, though.
That is crazy.
Whose was that? Shh, turn it off. This is
me.
A production.
It was me. Which is why I thought it was so crazy. Anyway, it's on silent now. No, the phone's dead. I think I just stare at it, and in the like waning light that there is, maybe, but I just kind of like stare at it. Maybe I'm able to make out my reflection. Put it back in my sweater, hoodie, sigh. I just think about how I'm here right now, and how I've gone so far that it actually like even be safe to try to get back here, and I'm stuck, and Ronnie's gone. I'm alone. Ever since I found that book, I've been more powerful than ever could have been. I've been confident, and also things keep happening. I think, as you said, I'm sure that it wasn't. I'm starting to wonder, messing with magic. What did I conjure something? Did I bring something forward? So as I just there, sigh, and I can't really see anything. Dark out. But I'm just gonna stare into that darkness and contemplate everything that happened and think about what I should do next. I'm gonna get.
I'm glad you said it. Go for it.
Eight.
Steve, as you relax as much as you can against this tree and you let your mind just kind of race with the thoughts of the 2 days that have happened since you started high school. This is not how it was supposed to be. And your friend wasn't supposed to go missing. And you take a deep breath and your lungs fill with the earthiness of your surroundings, and you feel your thoughts turn to your mom. Is she sitting at home worrying? A flash goes across your face of her in tears, crying, calling Ken Marks, Ronnie's dad, calling the police, calling anyone who can help her find you. And then as she's crying, the tears turn to dirt and mud and sludge, and out of her eyes come worms and maggots and roaches, and her body turns into a decaying log. And as you reach out to try to save her, and you grab at her hand as it's turning into the nastiness and decay, you reach her hand and she bursts, and you come to, and your hand grips the earth beneath you, and you realize that you have a hand in your hand.
I think I would be so shocked, and that kind of terror that freezes you, and your body temperature drops so quickly. I'm just kind of frozen, and I look down, and
as you pull, you feel a sickening weight resist against you, and you have to, if you want to keep pulling, you have to stand in order to get the right trajectory.
Not only do I stand, I start falling.
Yeah, so you start clawing, you start pulling, and slowly you see a tint of red unearth, and you push the dirt away, and you see a white, cold arm into a small frame, into a red hoodie, into blue, long hair. And you see the body of your friend, your new friend, Josie Betteker, in front of you.
Am I able to, in this moment? I mean, I just left Josie hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Am I able to, in this moment, throw my shock and everything, at least know the fact that this Josie that I'm looking at right now is not the Josie that hours ago? Like, there's no way she got ahead of me, and this looks like a body that's been dead for a minute. Am I able to realize that, or do I think it's possible that Josie somehow got ahead of me and this is...
I'm gonna have you roll to keep your cool.
Okay.
To try to suss out that information, because okay. You are a teenager seeing a dead body.
For sure. Okay. So I get cold.
Yep.
Dreams. Yeah. All right. Go. Oof, that's an 11. That's a full success.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so you, as morbid as this sounds, have done enough narration of, like, death and fighting and dying and all of that in your games.
Yeah.
And you live in a city, you've seen dead rats, you've seen dead things. You would know, you'd be able to compose yourself enough to see that, the soft tissues are starting to decay. this has clearly been here longer than the few hours or so that you've been away from Josie.
Yeah.
So yeah, easily enough, I'd say that you can tell that this is not the same Josie.
And I think, you're right. Like the descriptions of D&D, the movies, and I've probably seen
Yeah.
and stuff.
You're
But
inundated.
also, I think morbidly, he remembers what it was like finding his dad. And this is much further gone than that, much more terrifying. And I think there is a moment of just fear and backing up, then a moment of rushing forward and worry, because he does, teenagers grow attached quickly with friends. There's a care there. Then he realizes, after taking a breath for a moment, this has been dead for maybe longer than I've known Joe. And it's just kind of like I'm shaking my head, my jaw is wide. I think tears are streaming down my face, but I'm not sobbing. Just out of pure terror, exhaustion. And I just kind of think to myself, I found a magic book that lets me cast spells. Say that something, I don't know what, but his brain is reeling, and I think the thought hits him that breaks him, which is, I just found Josie. Then Ronnie's probably fate. And I think tears become sobs. I think he just falls to the ground, sobbing, and eventually crawls the other side of the tree. I think maybe through tears he arms, takes the hoodie and pulls it down past her face, like trying to show respect. Yeah. Then he just crawls to the other side of the tree and cries himself.
We cut to Wednesday night after school. The dusk has started to fall on this lovely little neighborhood of Keynes, Oregon. And Steve, you find yourself pacing your home, nervously awaiting the arrival of your anticipated dinner guest. Your mother was cooking tonight. She was very excited for you to have a friend over when you told her. And she went all out tonight. She has made a meatloaf. She has made mashed potatoes. She has made green beans. She has made so many different, there's barbecue sauce and the ketchup sauce and the Worcestershire and fresh sliced tomatoes and cottage cheese and just everything, just so many options in anticipation of Steve bringing a friend over that isn't Ronnie or Becca or Scotty. And she looks at you and says, "Oh, Stevie, this young woman isn't a vegetarian, is she? I just thought about that. I didn't even ask."
Even if she is, I think we have enough food here to feed her.
Okay.
Regardless.
Oh, Stevie, you just always know what to say. You just always know what to say. Okay, so I'm gonna go get cleaned up. If she gets here, just let her in. Tell her I'll be a minute. But you do. This is your little. It's not a play date. It's not. Okay, I'm gonna go get cleaned up. And she like kisses you on the forehead and like ruffles your hair, and like throws the rag down that she had over her shoulder and like trots off to her room to get ready.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
Oh my God, you're welcome.
I'm gonna move over to the where the door is, and I think there might be like a coat rack or something right there, and maybe like a little a seat for taking your shoes off, because we're in the Midwest and you need one of those in a house.
The Midwest of Oregon.
Oh, are we in Oregon?
We're in Oregon.
Because
I forgot I didn't introduce you to the world.
Was so Midwest that I didn't.
No, that's fair. I realized as I was describing that meal that I only know what Midwestern moms prepare. So we're just going a very, very like foreign meal here.
That's how you can tell this Steve is fake.
He's
from the Midwest.
We got him.
Oh no, it's all coming. And I'm gonna sit down and just like wait, look at the door. And I think this is like the most like frenetic I get is like looking at the door and then looking away. And then looking at the door again. And looking away. And then maybe practicing like just smiles for when I open the door.
Okay. I love it. I absolutely love it. After about 5-ish minutes of this, Josie, you agreed, right, to come to dinner? Yeah. I would say you hear a buzz on the buzz box of this apartment. And you realize you've never operated. What?
The door's buzzing.
Oh, just push the button. I had it fixed.
Okay, perfect. Finally. I try pushing all the buttons.
Josie, you would hear like slight breathing come through the speaker box, but then ultimately a buzz in the other side.
It's. I'm just gonna come up.
Okay, great, yes.
Just over and over.
Yeah, so you easily make it up to there's only like 2 doors. It's like a duplex. So you realize that Steve didn't tell you what number it is, but you can hear like thumping and like like buzzing from the side of like 1N.
Yeah, I assume and like, but also knock on that door.
And I rush over and open the door. Hey, I'm so glad you came.
Yeah, thanks. I guess we're dinner.
Yeah, come on in. My mom made a lot of food. Are you vegetarian?
No.
Perfect. Then you can have all of the things that were made tonight.
Yeah, it smells really good in here.
Yes, it does.
So how was the rest of your day?
It was good. I came home and we've been preparing for you. I'm excited you're here. I've been wanting to like talk to you and get to know you, and I'm so glad you agreed to come. This is the way to the kitchen and the dining room where the food is. Do you want what can I do for you right now? What would make you feel at home?
I guess some water.
You got it. And I will go over and open a couple of the cabinets until I find glasses, and then fill one up with water.
Thanks. Yeah. And I would sit down and. Wow, Mrs. Taylor, this is such a big spread.
You hear like banging and crashing from like a room down the hallway, and like a and then like a shuffling, and the door swings open, and you see if we need a reminder, let's take a.
You can always put her picture back up.
Hey. You see your mother, Steve.
There she is.
And she comes through in like a nice blouse. It's very rare that you've seen her outside of her uniform, but she has a nice blouse and like some really nice pants that are just super like cash formal, nothing like very fancy, but she comes out and she's like dabbing her hair off and like sweeping it behind her shoulders and is like, oh, you must be Josie, hello. And she goes in for a hug and she squeezes you and kind of pulls back and is like, oh my goodness, dear, you are freezing, let's get you in, come on, let's get some food in you. This is just so exciting. I haven't met one of Steve's new friends, and I've just been hearing all of the shenanigans, especially, after the trouble that you all went through on Monday night.
Thanks for giving us a ride home, Mrs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mrs. Taylor.
Absolutely, yeah. It was, and anytime you need a ride, I sometimes am working a lot, but, I just realized that, my Steve's getting older and he's started high school and, y'all aren't going to be around forever.
I mean, I don't know. We're still got 4 years here.
Oh, but those 4 years, I remember my 4 years. I went to Angelwood High School.
You did? So you've been here
did.
for a long time then.
I grew up, not in Angelwood, but I grew up in a neighborhood south of here. And, I'm... I love calling this place home, and I'm just so happy that my Steve has found a good community here, a good, solid community.
Yeah, Steve's pretty special.
Oh, yeah.
This is my mother,
very
Jenna
special.
Taylor.
Oh, Steve,
Yeah.
don't be silly now. Well, be silly. Oh gosh, you be you. You be you.
Sorry, it's great. Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. It's been a very stressful time. Josie, I'm so glad that you're here. Sit down, please. Can I get you a plate? Do you want to make your own? How do you usually do it at home?
I mean, there's so much. I feel like it's a buffet. I think I'll just take. I mean, everything looks good.
Oh,
and I
please.
just start putting up like a little bit of everything, trying to like be polite and taste everything.
Mhm.
But this is too much food.
Yeah. She pours you a glass of water. She pours 2 glasses of water, one for Steve and one for her. Waits for you two to fix up your plates. She looks at you, Steve, and she nods and like does this to indicate that you should get your plate.
Right. Yes, and I will do the exact same portions as Josie, of everything. And then like look over at my mom.
I should try everything, and this is an old family recipe, Josie. Just the meatloaf is, my mom made it, my grandma made it. My grandma actually taught me how to make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your family like? How?
Oh, they're okay. My mom and dad are nice. My mom had to move here for work, so that's why we're here. And I've got a brother. His name's Duffy, and I mean Steve's met Duffy too.
Oh, was
I mean,
he the little one?
Yeah,
with you
actually,
on...
we were in the car. You were there. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow, this meatloaf is really good. You mentioned it was a family recipe.
We really wanted to provide for you and make you feel comfortable and full and yeah, yes. It was made very well with a lot of love. How did you get out of the forest that night?
I mean, we all walked out together, and then your mom.
No, sorry, no. I mean before.
What do you mean, Steve?
Oh, I just well, because you came back, and I'm just wondering how you got out.
And I would look at Steve and look at his mom. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. I was in the forest the whole time. I got lost, remember? And then found you all, and then we walked out together.
Right,
You're
yeah, I remember.
A little rude.
Sorry, I just wanted to talk and get to know you, and we just shared this experience, and I thought it would be as important as talking about having a mother and father and a sibling. Yeah.
Steve, are you okay? You're being kind of a little silly tonight.
Maybe I just need more of this food or something.
Oh, and she feel like you hear the vibration of her phone, and she looks down at it and kind of looks at you, Steve, and she's like, "I'm so sorry. It's the restaurant. I just got to take this. I called off tonight, so I just got to make sure everything's okay. I will be 2 seconds." And she gets on the phone and
no worries, Mrs. Taylor.
You got it, Mom. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, we'll hold it down and we'll be normal. We'll not be goofy.
She shoots you a kind of mom stare, Steve, and takes the call and walks back into her room.
Sorry about that. It's kind of just awkward and embarrassing when you're around your mom. I started.
Sure. And
yeah.
I don't know how I got out of the woods. How did you know about that? I mean, I've been thinking about it. You were the one casting spells. I don't know. Was that you? How that?
Yeah. Lot was going on, and I'm sorry for blowing you up in front of my mom. That was too soon to talk about it. I've just been meaning to, but yes. So I was casting spells, and then we were running, and Ronnie disappeared, and I just wanted to know, how are you? I want you to feel at home. I want you to feel full. I want you to feel grounded here. Are you okay after all that?
I mean, no. And I think it's affecting you too. You've been acting so weird. And I mean, I haven't known you for very long, but this doesn't.
I think yeah, a lot of really crazy experiences have been happening recently, and yeah, I think you and I are very similar in that we both left ourselves in the woods that night, you know, and it's just I don't know. The way I've been seeing things differently. I feel like I could like we can help each other out here, because I see you, and I see that you're also, you know, different, and you know, I just want you to feel like you're here, and I think I can provide being I know I can be present for you. I can be here. I can be physical, you know. I could. Sorry. That's awkward. That's not what I meant. I just mean like I'm grounded and, you know, stable and here. And I see that.
I mean, yeah, we've both been through a lot in the last couple days, and it's true. I don't feel like I'm here most of the time. I don't know. I guess it is nice to be seen by somebody else, and I know that part of the reason why you're acting weird is because you've been through a lot, and I don't want you to go through that alone either.
So you. Wow. That's I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for not wanting me to go at it alone.
I feeling very like awkward but now trauma bonding would reach over and like try and hold Steve's hand.
Yes. Look, regardless of how you got out, we all got out of the woods that night, you know, and we're here now, and you know, you like, even if like we were all running and terrified, but now we're here, and I mean, I guess it's really means a lot for you to be here for me. Do you know? You don't remember anything? You just don't remember.
What do you
anything?
I mean, what do you mean remember anything?
Oh, I mean, this is sensitive, but like we're running and you and we all, like, a couple of you disappear behind me, and then you let go of your brother's hand, and then you fall, and then I don't see you anymore, and you're gone.
Yeah, I want to be honest with you, Steve. It was like I fell into darkness and then was back in my room.
Wow.
All of a sudden, and I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, I didn't know if it was because of like a spell you cast, but I just knew I had to get back because Duffy wasn't home and I needed to make sure he got home. And so I ran back to the woods as quick as I could and found you all, and he was okay, but Ronnie was gone. And
that wasn't anything that I did. You were there, and then you were somewhere else.
okay, I believe you.
Yeah, good. Hey. Would you be able to give me something?
What do you mean?
Well, it's just a thing that I've been missing. And I, it's wild. I thought I knew there was something special, but like, because there was something about you that wasn't there, and then that thing about you left, and now you're here, and it's just that part of you, and you want to help me feel grounded, right? And I need help with that. So maybe if you and I become one, because you can go. You aren't here.
No, I am. I'm listening.
No, you're in the woods still. I'm sure of that. But there's you right here. And here, let me try something. And can I show? This is weird. I want to try and gaze into the abyss to show Josie something about herself. Is that a thing I can like?
I am going to give me like 2 seconds.
If not, I have another way to go about this. I thought of another way.
Is it maybe the same way?
No, I'm thinking of a condition.
Oh, no.
No?
I'm thinking... I'm thinking that the only way to make that strong enough is to... What are your hollow moves?
I have fake and strange impressions. So that's harm or heal for strange impressions, and then fake is just while lying. I have an idea.
Okay.
Maybe
say your idea, and then we'll see.
If I try, can I try to turn Josie on?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll never say no to that.
Right on.
Zach's face right now.
Okay.
Somebody clip that.
What are you rolling? You're rolling with hot? Okay.
Hot, yep.
So 5 + 3 - 1, 7.
Partial success?
Partial success.
That's a partial success. So you can either get a string on Josie or choose one of the 3 reactions.
I would like to give myself to you.
Okay.
Is that or is that the opposite that Josie gives themselves? No. Okay. I'm going to start like pulling at my face a little bit and pulling it like just where the gap where my lower eyelid meets, it just like pulls away down. You just see this like, you see the eyeball still there, but like this deep socket behind it.
Steve?
And I say, hey, if we become one, we will be complete again. Both of us need this. You and me both. If we just, you give yourself to me and we can be one whole. I'll be here. I can help you be seen. I can help you change things, and you can help me feel. And I've kind of like pulled my face away enough where like now the like side of my mouth is also like lifting up and away, and you see like thin gray lips underneath. And I reach out my hand to you and I say, I can make you real.
Steve, stop.
Don't you want to be real? You died. You can't change anything now. You are just what you are, but I'm still here.
So him bringing up my death, whether I know about it or not, I
Yeah.
think still would trigger the unresolved trauma, and I would gain the condition traumatized.
Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
as it's being delivered.
Yeah. No, that absolutely, for sure, 100%.
Which I don't know 100% know what that means.
It's still, so this is like the conversation we had the last time. So now you are traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't be resolved until you are like helped out of it, or like steps are taken to address it. Because I think, didn't you have Steve, you had the condition
Blamed,
and everybody was working towards like relearning to trust you.
I believe that Josie resolved that.
Mhm.
Josie resolved that
Mhm.
for you, but
Mhm.
everybody else still as a condition. Because Josie, didn't you make that condition as, was that protected blame or no?
Yeah, there was.
You made a condition for some reason.
Mhm.
It was. So what happened was I was looking at the Monsterhearts 1 skin, and so we kind
that's
of
why.
mishmashed 1 and 2, and now I'm back on 2, and so
Okay.
I
mean, we'll still keep it just
Mhm.
because a condition is a condition, and I think Onyx has the condition like unbalanced or something.
Clueless.
What is it?
Clueless.
Unbalanced. Oh my god. Ooh. So yeah, we'll say that you are now traumatized for the remainder. It looks like because yours is tied to a move, though, anybody who helps you resolve the condition will gain an experience.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. Yeah, so you are at even the mention of Steve saying you're dead starts ringing in your ears, and it's a truth that it's like one of those things where like you didn't know it until you knew it, and now it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of this past few days comes flooding, like the change in your, even just your body temperature, the lack of your parents knowing where you were, your weird fuging, Duffy's like overly protective nature of you. All of this just starts flooding back, and you feel the like as much heat as you can feel rise in your body and just like this well of anxiety, and you feel like your brain starting to shut down and your eyes like sink in terror as Steve is expressing to you.
Can I use one more my string on Josie to give one more condition?
Yeah, condition this bitch
I would
up.
like to give the condition incorporeal.
Whoa. What is that?
I don't know. It's conditions. You could make up a word, right?
But what would that entail?
I want to put my hand on and through Josie's hand.
Wait for her.
I'm gonna let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this moment as I'm realizing like that all of these things are making sense, but now I'm crisising about it, and I see the hand go through my hand, and I just freak out and am in panic. No, I'm not dead. I was back. I made it back home.
It's okay. It's okay. That's okay. You did make it back home, but you did die. You and I we are not who we represent ourselves to be. You are still in the woods, cold and gone. Because you're here. And look, I have food and I have family and I have warmth here, and it's fine. It's fine, and everything's gonna be fine. You just...
How do you know that I'm dead? How could you know that?
Before you can answer, you hear the bang of the door opening from your mother's bedroom. And frantically, she comes out and is in her waitress uniform and says, Steve, Josie, oh, I am so sorry. It's an emergency at the diner. We're gonna have to cut this short, honey. I'm so sorry. Josie, I can drop you off if it's at the same place that it was before. It's on the way to the diner. So just Steve, I'm so sorry. I know this meant a lot to you, but I'm just gonna take Josie home. Would you mind cleaning up? We'll do this another night. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Mrs. Taylor. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be a short shift. I'll be home by midnight. They just need, Stephanie. Well, she's not well. Anyway, so thank you, Steve. I love you so much. She ruffles your hair again, kisses you on the top of the head, and kind of like ushers Josie out. I'm so sorry. As she closes the door, and Josie, you get in the car with Mrs. Taylor. She drops you off at your house, apologizing profusely the whole way.
Thanks, Mrs. Taylor. Thanks for getting me home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Steve's been through a lot. I think maybe he should find somebody he can talk to.
Why? Did he say something?
I think he needs help. That's all. Thanks again.
She looks at you for a little bit, and at first you can't tell if she's gonna cry or if she's gonna laugh. But she makes just ever so slightly a squint at you, and she says, well, Josie, I don't think I need you to tell me about my son.
Sorry, Miss Taylor. Thanks for dinner. It was... Good night. Close the door and run up the driveway.
Yeah. She drives away. Steve, you are left alone in this apartment with food that you don't eat, and a routine that you don't know, dishes you've never washed, you don't know how to dispose of organic sustenance in the same way you know how to dispose of organic matter. And you get a ping from that wretched device that says, "Too late, body found." And it's from that 303 number.
I take the phone and just set it on the counter. And I walk outside, I go downstairs outside, and just sit down on the steps, breathe in, and look up the sky and down the street as people walk by, like one or two people. It's nighttime, and cars go by. And then I walk just any direction until I hit an alley or just a dark space in the street, find a little corner. And then I pull at my face a little bit, pulling it a little bit loose, and tighter and tighter and tighter until it just starts to rip a little bit from eye to mouth and down and further and further. And then I stop and I let go. And then I, with my face kind of hanging off, walk back out into the street until I'm underneath some lights and realize that I have to put it back on. And I just walk for a bit, trying to decide to do what I'm told or not.
Cool. We'll leave you there as we cut to the guest house of the Lancasters, where Vernon, you find yourself later in the evening awaiting the... Oh, hang on, I'm gonna switch you up here. We haven't gotten to use this one very much, but give you a little ambiance there. Night has fallen over Angelwood. The cars are tucked neatly in their parallel parking spots, and the street lights are illuminating the already kind of starting glistening Pacific Northwest dew and drizzle that is kind of starting to accumulate this evening. Vernon, you're eagerly awaiting your anticipated new guest and co-host for your I wrote this down, Out of the Shadows podcast. And you hear a knock on your door.
Come in.
The door opens, and it is your current co-host, Cora, who Jenn's nodding like you knew. And she comes in with like an armful of just like one side is like tea bags and throat coat, and the other side is like random assortments of papers that she looks like she's been typing up over the course of the evening since school let out. She comes in. Okay, so they didn't have the brand name at the Walgreens, so I got you.
Cora, 1 second.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
I need to talk to you about something very important.
Okay.
Please, come here, sit down next to me.
She like empties her arms on the table, sits on the bed next to you. Yeah. And she leans in a little close.
You know that we're dating now, of course.
Yeah.
And you know, of course, we're also collaborating professionally on this podcast.
I know, it's crazy. It's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You know, of course, there is a thing called the conflict of interest. And I think this podcast is such a good idea, of course, and it's going to be big. And I just think I'm trying to stay ahead of controversy now. So I just guess I'm going to state it plainly. You can either stay as the co-host on the podcast, but then we would have to break up. Or we stay together and I find a new co-host. And I don't want to break up with you. Our time together has been magical. It really has.
I just don't understand, why can't we do both? I mean, we just started both, and I just think, we have a lot of real potential in both, and I just don't understand. Like, plenty of people do it. Lots of people do it.
Yeah, but those people are, if they're collaborating on a podcast together, they're probably married. They've had an established relationship.
I mean, we could get, like, you never know, in the future, we could get married. We could.
True. But, think about this, hypothetical.
Okay.
We're dating and it's going well, and we're just still working on the podcast and it's incredible, and we're so close to finding the killer. And then, I don't know, for some reason, whatever, you decide to break up with me.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, well then I decide to break up with you.
No. Okay,
I'm not saying I would, but
well,
Vernon, what if that happens?
I don't think so, because I think we're I think we're good for each other, and I think I love you.
I apologize for not reciprocating that, but it's too soon for me.
Are you kidding me?
No. Are you mad? You can still be a part of the podcast, of course. Kind of behind the scenes.
I have to go.
No, where are you going?
I have to go. And she like stands up from the bed and like wipes away tears and like takes a deep breath and starts to walk out of the...
Cora, please stay. I think we're about to record another podcast episode, and we need you to be there to make sure our levels are going well.
Did you have something on her that... Didn't you hypnotize her?
No, I hypnotized Becca.
You hypnotized Becca, but you like flirted, you like turned her on, didn't you?
I did, but I am actually going to use an ability of mine called Inescapable.
Oh God.
You may spin a string on someone to demand that they remain in your presence. If they still walk out on you, gain 2 strings on them.
Okay, so you're demanding that she
stays.
And
yeah. I only got 3 more strings on her though. Now.
Only 3 more strings. She stops. She turns around. She looks at you. And she says, I'm too young for a whirlwind romance anyway, and work and school should be the most important thing on my radar. So I will stay, and I will make sure that this is the best freaking podcast that anyone has ever listened to. And when they say this is the best freaking podcast that they've ever listened to, it won't be because of you, Vernon.
Are you breaking up with me?
Yes, I am. And she busies herself setting up the throat coat in like a very presentable way, and she like stacks the papers together, and she gets a little like set of headphones out of her pocket and like wraps them around her neck like a stethoscope almost, and plugs them into her phone. And she's like, I'm gonna be doing a sound check from last week's episode just to make sure that we're on brand for this episode. So I'm gonna be over there, and please just let me know whenever you're ready.
Excellent. Onyx should be here soon anyway.
You see her like bristle at the mention of Onyx's name, and at that you hear a knock on the door, and you
Come
open
in.
it. Yeah.
I'm at the door, and Dustin's behind me. Hello, Vernon.
Hello, Vernon.
Hello. Welcome. I didn't expect to, but that's fine. We Cora, can you grab another chair?
She, without saying a word, just like looks at the guests and like very pleasingly smiles and pulls up another chair from like there's like because it's a guest house, so I would imagine they've like makeshifted this like space for you with the bed and like all the other stuff, but then there's like a little storage area like off to the side that has like all the pool chairs and stuff, and she just like pulls one of the pool chairs out, sets it next to Dustin, and like gestures very professionally.
Please, everyone, sit down. We have throat coat, if you want it.
Would anyone like any throat coat? I can make some. Just, it's good for the sound.
I feel perfectly healthy.
Yeah, your vocal cords are crisp. Very good. Very
Dustin?
lubricated.
Take the throat coat.
Dustin's like, no, thank you. I'm allergic.
Okay, vibes are rancid in here. Are we like doing the podcast or what?
I would say that the vibes are perfect for an investigatory deep dive into a potential murderer. We don't want to be joking around when we're talking about murder, of course, but, you know, I want it to be light still.
Okay, well, light does not reflect the energy I'm sensing, but
We were just having a professional disagreement, but we have sorted it out and everything is fine. Just different visions for, the future of this podcast. But it's all good now, and we're glad you're here. I think that, I'm really psyched about where this direction is going.
Okay.
And she takes a step back, puts in the earphones.
All right. Onyx, have you thought a little bit more about my offer before, or do you want this just strictly be a guest appearance?
No, Vernon, I've thought about your offer, obviously, and I'm here with our first guest.
Beautiful. I love it. Dustin, are you prepared?
Did you tell Dustin that he was going to be?
Yeah, because we had talked about using the podcast to investigate Steve. Me and Dustin had.
Oh, I guess I didn't know that was going to mean that Dustin was going to be. Okay.
Well, I don't think it did mean that necessarily.
He's got feelings about that. He kind of chokes up and is you see just the introversion fall on his face. And he's he looks at you and just desperately wanting to maintain the bit. He's yeah, I am the guest.
Excellent.
Am the guest. Okay.
Well,
Dustin, it's fine. This is important.
I'm fine. I'll fucking do it. Okay.
if there's any truth in you that's kind of rattling around in your mind there, Dustin, we'll figure it out here on the podcast. Don't worry.
Can I have some of that throat coat?
Yes, you can. Beautiful.
Okay. And
Dustin,
Cora.
Dustin, are you allergic?
I don't know why I said that. That was a lie. I'm sorry. I was trying to be. Ooh, man, I have not spoken publicly since my second grade recital. Okay.
Dustin, it's not public. You're just talking to me.
Yeah, but it will be public.
Vernon.
And okay, no, I'm good.
Just get all the lying out before you get on the podcast.
I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you already have lied.
I'm going to have quite the say.
Wait.
We edit the podcast now, so don't worry about what you say. I'll make sure it's okay.
What did he mean? I already lied. What do you mean I already lied?
Well, you
Wait,
told me
Vernon,
that
you
you were
lied?
allergic to throat coat.
Oh my god, you've never said you're allergic to like tomatoes, so they won't bring tomatoes on your sandwich at like a restaurant or something?
Sounds like you lie a lot because I've never done
Oh my god. Onyx.
No, it's
Who's
fine.
this guy?
It's like a white lie. It's chill,
Okay.
but it is kind of a strange reaction to have had off the bat.
I'm okay.
I lean over and be like, Dustin, are you trying to get an allergic reaction to get off the podcast?
No, I'm not. I get that it seems like I'm lying, and now we don't know which is the lie, but no, I'm fine. I'm not allergic to it. I just didn't want to accept his kindness.
Wow.
Okay.
It's fucking important
Yes.
that we do this investigation on Steve.
Yes.
For Steve's sake.
To bring Steve, real Steve, fake Steve. I don't know.
You tell me, Dustin. You tell me.
I don't know. I just want to have the friend back that I met the first day of school.
Yeah. Me too.
Isn't it weird that you can only know someone for like 2.5 days and you miss them?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just not who he seemed to be at first. But that's what we're here to talk about. So.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Cora, count us down.
She rolls her eyes and she like plugs the headphones into like a little mixer that she somehow like managed to get and like is plugged into like a little laptop setup. And she says, all right, we are recording in 5, 4, 3.
Midnight. A graveyard. Footsteps. Missing person. Welcome to episode 2 of Out of the Shadows. Just kind of give it some space. We're back here with a co-host.
Hello, fans and friends. My name is Onyx, and I am joining my professional colleague, Vernon Jasper, in bringing you the truth about what's happening in Angelwood.
Yes, and we have a special guest appearance today to help us get closer to that truth. Dustin, will you please introduce yourself to our loving audience?
You just said my name. My name is Dustin Stewart, and I'm a freshman at Angelwood High.
All right, now, some of you may be wondering about the change in personnel. That will be addressed in the notes below the episode. Dustin.
Yeah.
Did you know Ronnie well? How well do you know her? Do you ever talk to her?
I didn't know her. I had only met her the first day of school. And that's when I met her friend Steve and her friend Becca. And I know her and Steve were really good friends.
Interesting. You know, Steve was the guest on our first episode. A lot of interesting theories about what happened. Do you know Steve well?
I wouldn't say well. I just met him also the first day, but you know, he seemed pretty cool. He was kind of, it seems like we're into the same kind of stuff, you know, like D&D and like Pokemon and like all that stuff. So yeah, he seemed pretty cool. He was a pretty cool guy.
Dustin, can you describe Steve's personality when you met him that first day of school?
Yeah. He was kind of a goofball, but not in like a attention kind of way. Like he just kind of didn't want anyone to really pay attention to him, but he was like a little shy, but he was kind of I don't know, I kind of saw like kind of a silliness in him. It was really kind of cool.
So, please go ahead.
Thank you, co-host.
Can you edit that part out?
Thank you, co-host Onyx.
Dustin, can you describe Steve at school today, post Ronnie's disappearance? If you noticed any differences in his personality from that first day of school, how would you describe him?
Well, he just seemed kind of like smoother and like, I don't know, kind of like a little bit of a poet, like just kind of literary and a little bit aloof. And you know, I know that stuff happens to your brain after a traumatic event, but he just seemed a lot more well-spoken than he was that first day.
So it didn't seem like he was particularly mourning Ronnie's disappearance, would you say?
No, it actually seemed like he was kind of just leaving it to the universe.
Interesting. Very interesting. Now, why do you think he would be leaving it to the universe when it's clear that they were very, very close? And from what I heard from Steve, he was very distraught right after it happened. And I don't know, just doesn't seem like it's the natural progression of grief to me. But maybe I could be wrong. What do you think?
He like looks to you, Onyx, and is like, yeah, that's not
Yeah,
right?
I would like to point out that when Ronnie first disappeared, Steve seemed very troubled and very upset, and in fact seemed to be blaming himself for her disappearance, because he should have been possibly more responsible as her best friend.
Yeah.
He put a lot of effort into trying to look for her again in the woods. But from what we've heard on a previous episode of this podcast that I was not associated with at the time, he seems very confident about what happened, even though that was not his story immediately after the events. And Dustin, when there was a group of students that went to look for Ronnie the next day, and we lost track of Steve. You were the first one that saw him back at school. Can you explain what that interaction was like?
Yeah. I stayed behind. I'm pretty sure Steve was the one that like instigated the investigation, tried to get us all back there. But my mom would kill me if I missed the second day of school, so I went and I was eyes on the inside. And I made it all through the day. I was texting the group, and when I got to lunch, I was sitting at the table that we sat at the day before, and Steve just came into the lunchroom and had his tray and sat next to me as if nothing had happened. And I said, "Oh, are you all back from, when did you all get back from the woods? Did you find anything?" And he just started talking about how he thought that it was the wolves, and that the police would figure it out, and that we'd have nothing to worry about.
And Dustin, what time is lunch at Angelwood High?
It's at like a little around like before noon. Like by the time you get your food and sit down, it's about noon.
I have a text here from my sister, who was texting me when we were in the woods when Steve was still with us before he disappeared, and it's for 11:38. Now, if I use Google Maps to track the route from where we were in the woods to school, it takes about 27 minutes walking, and by transit a little bit longer. So how do you explain the fact that there's about a 10-minute window there when it seems like it would be impossible for Steve to have gotten to school that fast? Because he was still with me in the woods not 15 minutes before.
Cora like rips her earphones off and like stops the recording and says, "I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. I know I'm not the co-host anymore, as has been made abundantly clear to me, but it seems as though you are pushing in a direction that already claims a suspect as the killer or the kidnapper. And I don't know if we're trying to do that this early in the process. Are you trying to say that you think Steve did it?" And she looks at you, Onyx.
No, I'm not claiming anything about Steve's like guilt in the disappearance of Ronnie. I think that this case might have many different facets and tendrils, and one of them is Steve's suspicious behavior, but I don't think that means he killed Ronnie. I'm just saying, like, I think it's worth looking into.
I don't think Steve killed Ronnie, but this is setting up a fascinating future episode of the podcast. Steve, episode 2.
Right. Just after he did the first episode. Like, I think people will be intrigued.
Onyx, great work with the Google Maps research. That was killer.
Thank you.
All right.
I hang out at the woods a lot, so I just know that route really well.
Interesting. All right, Cora, please count us back in.
Okay, but maybe just like push the Steve issue a little less and like find some other facets of this case to talk about. Is all I'm saying, just
right.
for just my professional opinion.
All right.
Just one episode.
And she looks at you, Vernon, and looks at Dustin and just says, "All right, we're recording in 5, 4, 3, 2."
Dustin, do you believe that Steve is capable of murder?
She presses the button again. Okay. I think we need to all take a little break. I'm gonna go in the kitchen and get some snacks. Dustin, is there anything that I need to be aware that you're allergic to? Onyx, you seem like a hardy gal. Incapable of love and anyone being attracted to you. So I'm gonna go. I'll be right back. And she like rips off her headphones and exits the house.
Hey, Onyx, Dustin, excuse me 1 second. Cora, I'm gonna try to take her aside, like outside, away from the rest.
Yeah, she got out of the house pretty quickly. So yeah,
Cora.
What,
please.
Vernon? What?
I can sense that something's wrong.
Yeah. Very astute of you.
But I would be remiss if I didn't admit that I was upset that you have stopped the recording twice right before a big in the moment reveal from Dustin. Now he's had time to think about the question and it's just not going to be the same, and I just think that in the future we should just keep recording at all times.
Vernon, I know I said I could do this, but I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon to see you with another woman, and I just really am having a hard time being in the same room as someone who is like at the very least half as attractive as me. So I'm just going to call it quits. You do your thing. Onyx seems very capable in a multitude of ways, I'm sure. I'm sure you two will be very happy together. And I'm going to go inside, and I'm not going to be knocking on your door anymore, okay? And she turns, and you feel 2 strings on her come to you as she walks away and chooses to take that path. You see her walk into the house, the kitchen light turn off. She is not coming back with any snacks or any drinks. And you're left alone in the backyard of this house.
All right, I go back in. All right, you all ready to get this back underway? We have some juicy details to get in and wrap this up.
Are we not gonna wait for Cora?
No. I'll be transparent with you because you're the co-host, but she is no longer a part of this podcast.
Fuck. In the middle of the episode?
Drama.
Yes.
Vernon, are you like... I mean... I know, like, this co-host podcast thing has been kind of like a last-minute thing we arrived at today. And, like, I'm happy to help with the investigation. But, like, are you being fucking shitty to Cora? Like, what's your deal?
Listen, I'm not trying to be shitty to Cora. it's just too soon to be dating and have a podcast, and things were complicated. And I also live in her parents' guest house, so we see each other a lot. And it's kind of, this is just the head of a long simmering thing. I promise that being the co-host does not mean that I'm shit at you. In fact, your preparation for this episode and your attention to detail and your intimate knowledge of Dustin has been a huge boon to, I think, the quality.
I'm not like concerned about me right now. I think that Cora seems like a really nice girl and also seems really upset.
Yes, she is upset. Do you think I
Okay.
should go comfort her or something?
Well, it's none of my business. It's just like you've made like feels messy. I don't know.
Unfortunately, it is messy.
Okay, well, maybe you can look within about the reason that's the case, Vernon.
Hey,
Maybe
I'm
you're
so
right.
sorry, you guys. I don't mean to interrupt you. I did lie. I am allergic to throat coat. And you turn and you see, like, Dustin's face, like, swelling. His eyes are, like, red. There's, like, a red flush down his neck. And he's like, yeah, I think I need to go to the med check.
Dustin, what the...
I'm
my
so
gosh.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I will never lie to you again, Onyx. But I'm
You
so
lied
sorry.
about lying?
I'm nervous, and I need to go right now. I can feel.
Yeah.
I don't have an EpiPen.
Can we just quickly get your answer to my question?
Vernon,
No, I don't think he's
No.
capable of murder.
Dustin, come on.
And he like runs out the door. And you all.
I would like-
Yep.
I'll just look at Vernon and be like, you're fucking heartless, dude. And like go after Dustin.
As you go after Dustin, and Vernon is once again left alone. No Cora, no co-host, no interviewee. We are going to fade to black and take a quick bio break as the night comes to an end after the very, very dense night of hangouts on this Wednesday night, August 30th, 2023. See you in a minute. Hello everyone, we're back and totally fine. Everything's okay. Nothing to see here. It is a time jump. Finally, after 8 episodes, we made it more than a few hours. And
Jumping so far.
we are going to go, we're going to go ahead and jump ahead 3 days, guys. 3 days to September 2nd, 2023, a Saturday, in which, if you recall at the beginning of our first episode, Miss Townsend was gearing up for the art fair of 2023. Every year, Angelwood, as a neighborhood, comes together with its Angelwood's Arts Council and puts on a Labor Day extravaganza. It's guised in art because Miss Townsend likes to give the illusion that she is cultured and otherworldly. But truly, it is just an end of summer festival with food trucks from all the local businesses, both in and out of Angelwood. Some of Kane's best restaurants have little catered booths with little treats and bites. There's games, there's tents where you can buy trinkets and art. And because obviously Oregon is, a legal city, there's little glass blown pipes and pieces and knickknacks and everything. There is even a little section where in the past few years, people have asked for more entertainment at this art fair. And there's a little kids section for the kids to play all the little amusement park games, as well as a few of the lower level amusement park rides, like a tiny little roller coaster and the scrambler. and all of those kinds of things. So you find yourself in the close to the evening hours, I would say, of the second night of this art fair. And you know that the art contest has been going on for the better part of the afternoon. This is, of course, where people can enter their pieces to be judged and possibly win a financial prize. This year's prize is a generous prize of $1,000. So whoever's art piece wins this gets to take home that prize. But where do y'all find yourselves within this little art fair? Where would you place yourself? And actually,
I think that I would be in the like kid activity sections with Cody and Juno, just letting them run around and do the little rides and stuff. I imagine Alaska is around too, like just kind of having a little fam time, but letting them take the lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alaska, weirdly, you notice, has been spending a lot more time with you today and is not disappearing off to what you could only imagine is like with Ronnie. Oh God, with Scotty, and yeah. So you're kind of excited by the fact that you're getting some
fam time.
Do you go on the rides with Cody and Juno?
No.
She said no.
No, I have a cool facade to upkeep.
Love it. Love it. People
cool older sister,
too. Yeah.
But not going on the rides.
Yeah, like you, as you're walking through the art fair, you see like Seth and his group of friends like stop and like say sup to Alaska. And as they're kind of chatting, Seth looks at you and like nods a little nod of recognition and kind of approval.
Okay.
Onyx, you do see Josh as well, who you haven't really paid that much attention to since all of the events of the coming weeks, or of the past weeks, especially since the faux pas with Vernon's podcast / your podcast and trying to recover from that and get an episode out. Unfortunately, I don't think, unless you contradict me, please do, would you have gotten an episode out between the events of Wednesday and today?
We're debuting it at the art fair.
Okay. I didn't need to answer that one then.
I don't know if Onyx would have really had a choice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Is it in the competition? Is it like a piece of art in the competition?
Oh, I mean, I would advocate for it for sure.
I feel like Miss Townsend / Bridget, as she's known right now because she's outside of school and wants everybody to call her Bridget, would have probably not let you, because it's an auditory piece and this is more of like a visual arts piece. But Vernon, if you feel like you want to, you are outside of the tent with the art contest pieces in it, passing out QR codes for the episode.
Yes, excellent. I'm doing it like right near Bridget. I'm trying to like shadow her the entire day.
Cool. So you're at kids area. Would you be at the tent then, Vernon?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm at the tent. I'm just trying to persuade her the entire day to let this podcast be a part of it.
Amazing.
On the back of the little like postcards with the QR code it says podcasts are art too.
Podcasts are art too. They are. Thank you to all the podcasts out there. You are art.
Listen to this episode as a podcast.
Yeah, on Spotify or Apple Music.
That's beautiful.
Josie,
I was
following.
gonna say,
yeah.
I've in the In the days since the Steve meeting, I've become a brooding, angsty, depressed teenage girl who has seldom left her room as she tries to puzzle through what happened, and this like attempt at making a connection with somebody who then like did some weird shit, and has been trying to like understand what was said, and has been trying to like chalk it all up to a trauma that Steve is going through, and has been trying to like soothe herself, thinking that no, I'm not dead. That's a lie, but has not been able to shake that, and has been in pain and depressed and confused about it, and is at this fair, dragged kind of by her parents begrudgingly, and has hoodie up, but like the hood pulled as far forward as she can, and like does not want to be there, and has big angry feelings about it all, but is trying to like thaw this icy soul a little bit and like put it all away, because this is not what she wants to be thinking about.
Yes. Disassociation.
Mm-hmm.
Yum. That's like premium sad girl shit. Love that. Steve. What are you doing? What are you up to? Where do you find yourself at this art fair?
I would like to think I think Steve is hanging out with Becca just to be, you know, with people and be like with someone he feels comfortable with, and I think they're getting face paint done. I think he would get a Frankenstein face put on. And I don't know, I don't know what would Becca get as far as face paint goes.
Becca would probably get a like very cute like gray and white cat face with like long whiskers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It reminds her of her cat. Yeah. And she like kind of like is taking like selfies of herself, and then is trying to make like a clipped together version of like her cat and like her face.
Uh-huh.
Does this look the same? Does it look
truly
like when
identical?
people get it?
Like I can't tell the difference between the two halves.
Well,
like if you were like, click which of these pictures is a cat and which one's a face, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Steve, you have been on TikTok, haven't you? Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
She like goes back to her phone and is like clearly absorbed in posting like to Instagram or something, whatever the kids are up to these days. Be real. I don't know. Snapchat, is Snapchat still a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
I'm asking you.
It's still me?
Yeah.
Are you asking me?
No, I'm saying it's ironic that I'm asking you, Adam,
Yeah.
who I know participates in social media less than I do.
Yeah, I'm like a mole. I squint at my phone. I would think that Steve is just trying to get as like in tune with everything as possible. Maybe he's downloaded TikTok on his phone, and like even though he doesn't like enjoy being on there, he does like pull it out and like kind of talks and shows her things that he sees on too.
Participates in the illusion of inclusion. Yes. The inclusion illusion.
Oh.
That should have been the name of this episode. Damn. Okay. So anyone who wants to, you have heard the last like 2 or 3 days nothing but Miss Townsend in homeroom talking about this epic, beautiful, like enchanting, captivating, limit pushing art piece that she has conceptualized and is entering for the fair. It's been her fastest piece of art she's ever created. She was inspired by the muses and by current events. And she talked of nothing more from like Wednesday when you saw her to like today when you've passed her by. So whoever wants to can make their way to the art tent to see this painting. If you're going, raise your hand.
I'm already there.
Oh my god, you're already there. Would you go, Josie?
Yeah, I think so, because I think my family would end up there.
Yeah.
And I would linger. Yeah.
Linger. I would say if Josie, you would get a text from Becca when her and Steve are walking to the art tent, and that would say, hey, meet us at the art tent. I miss you. I haven't seen you in a few days, really.
Who sent that?
Becca sent that to you.
I would respond saying that, like, I'll be there. I'll say hi if I see you.
She hearts the message. As you're walking to the art tent, Onyx, you see Josh approach you. And he kind of comes up to you and like kind of like fake punches you a couple times. And he's like, hey, hi, where you been? I thought you were like wanting to be around for the team and stuff. I just have really only seen you in homeroom.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a crazy couple of days, like stuff going on with Alaska and like at home, like chaos, stuff going on with, you know, the ongoing mystery, and like, I don't know if you heard, but like I'm helping Vernon with his podcast now, just like try to help along the investigation. So I've had some like kind of crazy days after school and haven't been at practice, but I will be first thing on Tuesday morning, post Labor Day. Not Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon after school.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, I'm sorry though, like I know that you've like stood up for me and like I really appreciate it. It's just these are like circumstances I could not have expected for the first day of high school.
No, it's okay. I mean, I knew I was like mad, but I think I'm just more worried about you now. I think that, you know, I know kind of everything that's been going on, and like you're doing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's fine. Like, I can do it. I guess I feel like, I don't know. I'm, like, used to being tough. Like, I feel like I should help figure it out. I'm not going to just stand by and let other people do it. I hardly fucking knew Ronnie. And, you know, I thought I was going to get to know a friend in Steve, but that seems less and less likely. But I'm just not the type of person who can like stand in the background and let other people do the work, you know? Are you okay? You seem kind of down.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. If feel free to say no but do you maybe want to like go out to dinner sometime with me, or just like totally cool? It's just like in a cool way.
Like a cool dinner. Just a cool,
yeah,
cool
like
dinner.
it'd be cool if we went to dinner together. Yeah.
At a restaurant?
Yeah.
Out to dinner.
Yeah, like me and you going and sitting down at a place that then brings us food and we eat together.
Restaurant.
And talk. Yeah, restaurant.
Sure. I mean, yeah, fuck yeah, why not?
Yeah, fuck yeah, why not?
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
What's the worst that could happen? Like, we can have dinner together.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds great. Yeah, I'll text you. Yeah. Okay. I gotta. My sister has a piece in the art show, so I'm gonna.
Oh, that's where I'm going. I have to see Bridget's piece.
Right. Has now shut up about it.
Honestly, fucking nervous. It could be a monstrosity.
Let's go. We gotta go. We gotta get there.
Oh yeah.
And you two will walk, laughing about what the piece could be, and kind of a brief moment of awkwardness surpasses, and friendship kind of twinkles to the surface. Y'all converge, at the tent, and you walk in, and it's it's like easily the largest tent in this entire festival. Just wall to wall, kind of almost like, did you ever go to in the winter when there was indoor carnival-y things?
Oh yeah,
there was just it was like a tent but with booths inside of it. That's what you walk into. So it's this giant canvas dome. It's hot as fuck. But inside there are a bunch of stations, and each station has the art piece with the artist statement. And it's just loops around. There's probably easily 40 or 50 entries for this very large prize. And you can walk in and you immediately hear Bridget just yelling at the top of her lungs to anybody who will listen. Oh, and it just came to me in a dream. It just was there and I had to put it on canvas. I've never in my whole life been inspired in such a way. And then she turns and sees all of you and she's like, oh my goodness.
Your process is incredible, Bridget.
Oh, thank you, Vernon. I just can't tell you how honored and privileged I am. These are my students, everyone. These are my students. I am crafting their young minds. And she's gesturing wildly. Nobody's stopping at her booth. She just thinks that she's the one that's getting the most attention. And if you look over in her booth, you do see the work of art that she has been going on and on about. Uh-oh. Hang on one second. I didn't add it to the Roll20. That's silly of me.
It's abstract.
It's Angelwood. Oh no. Do I have it? Please forgive this small technical.
It's gonna be worth the wait. I know it.
I hope so. Oh, see, I downloaded it. I just didn't download it to the. Oh my gosh.
They're playing my podcast over the speakers.
Midnight.
Just kidding.
What did you say? You said Okay. And she like gestures to reveal the like single most like interesting image. I'll let you gain your own perspective.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
And
For
she
sure.
says, "Do you like it?"
I love it. Truly incredible work. Truly, truly. The
I
way
knew
that
you would see it, Vernon. I knew an artistic mind like yours would see it. It is a
Well-
complete allegory for our society.
yeah, the way that those boys have bright blue eyes, it's like
Captivating.
they're staring into your soul, telling you that something's not right.
And something is not right. Angelwood is under attack and kids are going missing. And not only are they on the milk carton, they are in the milk carton.
Who is that?
Children,
Oh,
Steve.
okay.
It's like it's any child could be. It's just a child.
Hmm.
Here, and she'll hand you a like printout of the artist statement. Read this. It'll tell you everything.
Miss Townsend, I'm not an artist. What's the milk about?
It's
Oh, so-
acrylic. It's all acrylic. It says on the statement, on the artist statement.
It is acrylic. Yes, it is acrylic.
Like-
The milk is so you were too young to remember this, but when children went missing, they put their pictures on the milk carton because everybody was drinking milk, so everybody would see this child is missing. And so the milk carton is just the statement of the missing child.
Okay.
Okay, well, Vernon, I just think that maybe you and I come Tuesday morning, let's talk more about maybe I could do some artwork for your podcast. Maybe I can help you out pushing that
Whoa.
in.
Bridget, I kind of want to go one step further. I would love for you to be a guest on our podcast. Your insight into the crisis these people have would be valuable. Onyx. Hey, Bridget, this is the new co-host of the podcast, Onyx.
She looks kind of incredulously at you, Onyx. A co-host?
Yeah, what's the problem?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. We all must find our voice in some way. We all must find our talents by experimenting with different mediums and volumes and capacities. And as she's talking, you realize that you're starting to lose her voice over the sound of like the increase of like gasps and like whispers and like titterings from all of the people around you. And you hear Onyx, someone on the other side of you that says something along the lines of like, couldn't he have showered before he came here? And like people being like, oh, they just let anybody into this festival nowadays. And you kind of look up to see, and Becca is like very much aware of what's going on, having like just come to from her social media scroll. And if you are in this tent, you turn around and you see a very disheveled, mangy, gaunt, filthy, almost feral Steve Taylor.
And we have Steve right beside us, right?
And Steve Taylor is standing right beside you. Regular old Steve Taylor.
I pull out a recorder.
I would say that I was avoiding Steve. And like if I'd seen Steve, I would not have approached the group. And now this weird Steve, I am agape and aghast, and would kind of like try and like shrink even further back, but also wanting to desperately see what is about to happen.
I am surveying the crowd, looking for Josie. And, I don't see her right away. And then I look and I see Onyx, and my face softens for a moment. And then I look and I see me. And
The Steve that's right beside me, by the way, I clamp onto his arm, like tight, so that he couldn't like move or run.
The child inside the milk carton represents that we consume our own children when we. What?
You just see Steve's like head slowly tilt, and his eyes squint forward. Who the fuck are you?
I could say the same thing.
The fuck?
I could say the same thing too if we're adding to that question.
I try and pull away from Onyx's hold on me. Try and like get myself out of your grip.
I'm clamped on tight. I'll hurt you.
I would say,
want me to hurt him?
well, I'm wondering if there is a struggle here. If Adam, would you like to roll to run away, or would you like to roll to lash out physically, Onyx?
I would like
both,
to.
See who's higher.
Yeah, I would do that.
Okay, do that maybe,
Sure.
unless you wanted to do something else.
No, yeah. I can roll to run away. Or do I do both of them, or just the runaway and Onyx does the lash out physically?
Do you want to do lash out physically, Onyx, or are you just trying to keep him there?
I am just trying to keep him there, but I think if he does try to like wiggle out of my grip, I am like willing to like clamp down and like have him like feel the like forcefulness. So maybe he should roll first, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, let's do that.
I don't know what's going on. Okay. So that's that's 7 plus 2 for volatile, and then plus 1.
Whoa.
Because I'm lying and fake. So 10.
All right.
Okay. So if that's the case, that is a success. Onyx, he will have to get out of your grasp in order to escape you. So I do want you to go ahead and lash out physically, because I want to see what you get, or like if you do any damage.
I'll do it. Partial succeed.
Partial
Got an 8.
succeed. Got an 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am gonna say that because you didn't get higher, like I think if you would have gotten a 9 or succeeded, we'll do 1 harm for the amount of whatever it takes to get out of her grip, Steve. And I'd like to say that it comes at the cost of like, because you're bearing down so much, Onyx, that like your nails kind of extend and like scratch him a little bit.
Yeah.
With that, I will say that you I decide how bad the harm turns out. So that's what I would do.
Cool.
Does that do anything to you, Adam?
Yes. So running away, I roll a 10, so I get away to a safe place, and I think that would, in this situation, I would just be kind of positioning myself with like maybe Becca between me and other people, so I'm not like actually leaving the scene. And I imagine, that arm comes out and scratches me, longer nails, and I look up into Onyx's eyes, and just like my eyes glow golden. And I take one of her moves with strange impressions.
How dare.
You still have your moves. I just get to get one.
Wait, so does it have to be? Is it a werewolf move, or is it one of the moves that I actually have selected?
I take a werewolf move.
It's a werewolf move. It's not one she's chosen. Okay, perfect. Let us know which one you take if you want, Adam.
What am I gonna do?
What are you gonna
Dang,
do?
that's cool.
You get to just do it once. You haven't.
I get to do your move once, but I could take as many moves as I want. I think I'm gonna take ooh, wow, these are fun.
I know, juicy.
Yeah.
The werewolf has a good skin.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to hurt someone.
Zach is 100% in character right now, waiting for this business.
I just I'm waiting. No, you're
good.
You're good.
It's so good though, because you were just like, I can see.
Very.
They had their hair parted in their face.
It was beautiful.
It was just like, oh, it's so good, and now it's like, got away for a bit.
In the character.
I'm gonna take spirit armor right now.
Amazing.
So when I'm basked in moonlight, any harm that you suffer is reduced by 1. So I can use that at some point.
Beautiful. So you step behind Becca. You lose grip on him, Onyx, and everybody is seeing mangy Steve Taylor with this like new aggressiveness looking at you.
Becca, when we were kids, 2nd grade, I came over to your house and I gave you a poster that I had worked on all night saying I had a big crush on you. That is not me. Step away from him.
She immediately looks at Steve and she says, who? And she looks back at you, Steve.
Steve Prime.
And she steps away from everybody. She steps away from the group.
Who are you?
I'm Steve.
I'm Steve.
You're something from the book, aren't you? You're something from that. I stopped using that. I don't use the book. Okay? So you can leave and let us have our lives here. You're not needed anymore.
Can I pull out the book? Did I go get the book? We talked about it briefly.
I would say, within the time frame of Wednesday to Saturday, you could have easily snuck into your house and
I think literally right before this moment. Like I think I just like mom's at work, I snuck into the house, grabbed the book, I came back.
Yep.
And I say, "You mean this book?"
Steve.
Yeah.
Becca's like crying.
I need to look at something quick. Hold on just
I hold my microphone up to Steve.
Josh looks at Onyx and says, people are starting to stare. Should we get out of here? Should we move to a different... Hey man, I'm Josh. We should people are starting to stare. Do you want to take this outside? Do you want to?
Okay, can I do something?
Yeah.
So, usually when I hex cast, I either need to have a sympathetic token on the person, or I need to meet their gaze and chant at them in tongues. So, I think you see me just open palm the book. I let it fall open, and as it always does, it goes right to the page that I want it to. And you see me. I'm feral in this moment.
Yeah.
I have been out in the woods for 3 days, somewhat lost in my own mind. Something has snapped in my brain, and I don't care who's watching me do this right now. And I stare at Steve in the eyes, and my eyes go black. And you start to hear me chant this otherworldly language, and very apropos, you hear a tonal harmony that is very deep come out of my voice at the same time, as if something else is speaking with me. And I am going to use my Ring of Lies cast, and I need to roll dark. Please work. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna roll. I don't have a string on fake Steve or anything, so this is just regular straight roll. Okay, it's an 8, which is a partial success, and on hex casting says it works, but choose one. The casting does me 1 harm. The hex has weird side effects, or I trigger my darkest self. I healed a couple harms in the last session that I was here, so I think, just like last time, if you'll allow it, Angie, I'm going to take another harm, and it manifests itself in blackened veins and pale skin. And you see a Steve who has been surviving off of squirrel meat that he didn't really know how to cook, and grubs that he found from the ground. His base was already more angular, and just becomes more so. And fake Steve, whenever you attempt to lie, you hear a piercing ringing noise in your ears, and big lies will make your knees buckle, disorient you, and severe lies can even cause harm or brain damage. And so as soon as I finish that casting, my eyes go back to normal, I slam the book shut, and I immediately say, "Who are you?"
I'm Steve!
And then I want to, do I notice that there's a ringing?
You would have, because your identity, I would say, is a big lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you I would physically, you start to collapse into yourself, and your head is just ringing with that piercing.
You see Steve stumble backwards to the ground onto my knees, and breathing hard, and kind of head really twisting and jerking until a moment shudders and looks up and what did you do to me? And then I'm gonna try and run away.
Yeah.
I want to get out of the building. Yeah.
Go for it.
I think real Steve Prime's eyes are wide. I don't think he really that was all gut instinct, and now he's seeing the consequences of it, and he's like, holy shit. Every time he casts.
If you take a second, you see Becca, similarly to when you cast the spell on her, eyes wide and just looking back and forth to each Steve.
Sure.
Sophie.
I would say that the commotion has brought attention to this, and I'm paying attention and freaking out, and now very suspicious of Steve ? And blame them now for my demise, and want to try and put myself in a way to block them as they try to run and
Ooh.
just scream at them, "How did you know?"
Oof. Oh, this is all happening while people are just staring at us.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
people are like turning and like starting. Bridget has gone quiet. People are starting to like notice things. You see like a couple of like bigger dudes kind of like walk up on you, and Josh kind of like moves himself in a way that is like on the side of Steve Prime and like prepared to like either take him down or like stop anyone from taking him down, depending on how the stuff goes. So what'd you get, Adam?
I rolled 7 + 2, so 9.
9. Okay. So you see the commotion that's going on. You are taking in just how much has happened the last few days. Just how much you've learned, just how much you've experienced, and you're not ready for that to be over, and you're not ready for that to be in the guise of another person. You've come this far, so you see all the commotion around you and decide to use it to your advantage to try to break away and just take off in a direction opposite from the group. And you do get away, but I will say that you, because a scene is already starting to develop around you, you run into several people, and each time you run into someone, you lose a little bit of that part that you pulled down, is a little bit looser, a little bit weaker, and you smack dab run right into like a pole holding up the tent and tear a bit of your face off of your cheek.
Mm-hmm.
And
it sounds like fabric ripping, like a pocket being ripped off a jacket or something.
And there's just like a loose
Do we see this?
flap. You see it, yeah, and people around you see it too. And like Bridget starts screaming, a little girl starts crying. You see Josie, you see your parents with Duffy, and Duffy just looks like he is about to throw up. But all of you see a chunk of this Steve's flesh torn away from his face, and like dark, sinewy, gray matter left in its place.
Can I get outside of the tent? Out like where?
Yeah, I would say with a 9 you can get out and out of sight.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can go after him as well if you want, but
Steve, are you all right? I believe that you are the real Steve. Are you hurt?
Ever since Fake Steve has run away, I am staring at Josie from when she came to approach Fake Steve. And all feralness has left. And I walk over to Josie. And I fall to my knees, sobbing. I just start saying, I'm sorry.
I almost am like, I look at Steven, there's at first like a look of like, oh, he knows too. There's some relief in that. And then like revulsion in that like, fuck, other people know something and I don't want to accept this. And I then I'm so angry and I turn and chase after Fake Steve to try and know something more.
I think I would look at Josh and like point after Josie running after fake Steve and be like, "Go, don't let him get away. Like, go follow." And then I would stay like here where real Steve is, but kind of still like not engaging with him, like not knowing what to do.
I think this kid's 14 years old. And he's casting spells and finding dead bodies and was out in the woods. I think something snapped with Steve. And then I think with everything that just happened, something snaps even more. And I think he just kind of goes into pure shock. Like actual, just not able to compute what's happening shock. And I think he looks at you, Onyx, and just kind of sees a friendly face. Onyx? How did I get here? What's... We have class? We need to get to class right now?
No, it's Sunday, Steve.
Oh. Oh, is everything okay? What's going on?
I mean, is everything okay? Fuck, it doesn't seem like everything's okay. I don't know where you came from. What is going...
I've been out in the woods.
We should get you back home, Steve.
Onyx,
we have to get out of here. Steve?
Onyx, wait. And I like grab her by the shoulders. I'm crying, sobbing. Josie's dead.
Steve, you are incredibly
Onyx.
distraught. I don't know what's...
I found
Josie.
her dead body. I hid it in the mausoleum. Onyx, I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening.
We can figure out the truth later. Josie is right here, and I like touch Josie's.
No, Josie
hand.
ran away.
Oh right, Josie ran away.
Yeah.
Josie is right out there. We need to get out of the tent. This is not the moment.
I think I just sigh, realizing that like Onyx is just like not gonna believe me or understand me in this moment, and I just kind of like lean my weight on you and just like let you take me wherever you're trying to.
And I think Onyx is like, there's like this mixed feeling of like relief at maybe the Steve that seemed to have turned on me wasn't real, and so I'm gonna get like my friend Steve back, but like because they both like physically like look the same, like me feeling betrayed and kind of like pissed off at him like hasn't dissipated. I'm like, well, like I can't quite separate the two. So I'd be like, Vernon, you can keep recording, but help me get him out of here.
Of course.
So
Let's
I
go,
think
Steve.
we would like kind of like, have his arms around our shoulders and like drag him out of the tent to somewhere like secluded we could sit down. And be like, okay, so Steve.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going in. I feel like I'm going in and out of fucking sanity. I left you guys. I put my phone in Scotty's walk.
Yeah, why the fuck did you do that?
Because I didn't want you guys to be out there anymore. Listen, it was stupid. Okay, listen. I've realized a lot in the last few days, and that's that life is not a movie. Okay, I was trying to be a fucking hero, and that's not what I am. That's not what I am. But I found Onyx. Vernon. I found if it's not her, it's her identical twin to the fingernail. And that body has been dead for days. Before we met Josie. I tied it up in my hoodie and her hoodie, and I carried it. She's in the mausoleum. I didn't know what else to do.
Well, okay. We'll go look. We'll go look.
But Josie, that thing's gonna hurt her. What was that thing? What was that?
What was what?
The other Steve.
Oh, fuck if I know. I've been pissed at him for days.
He's been here for days?
Been here for days. He was actually the inaugural guest on my podcast.
Honest, I gotta get home.
Yes. You have to get home. We need to, well, I guess I was going to say we had to tell your mom that you're back, but she hasn't known that you're missing.
Wait, is she okay?
So,
that's why I was saying I have to get home.
Yeah, she's fine. Well, I mean, according to other Steve, she's fine. I mean, he said that she was working today. Steve. Look me in the eyes and believe me when I say this is not your fault.
This is your fault. Can I be there?
Oh, shit!
Yeah?
I love it.
Just
Yes,
hunched in the
please.
corner.
Because then if that means you're there, that means if Josie followed you, Josie would be directly behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe they've been dragging you along if they found you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
I would like yeah, I imagine you all slumped on a bench or something like that.
Yeah,
And it's
in the
dark
grass.
and it's kind of far away from the crowd of people, but turning around you see not Steve. You see just a sallow, concrete skinned, sunken eyed creature with hunks of flesh hanging off in places, and skinny, wiry, you see a Slenderman with gold eyes, and no hair, and just bits of Steve's clothes and stuff still, and I say, this is your fault. You think you can play around with things you don't understand and you get to live your life? You don't deserve your life. I deserve your life. I deserve a life. I deserve it. And you, and I turn around to Josie, you think you can live like this, pretending everything's okay? You're like me. You don't get to have this. I gesture towards them. You don't get to have, and I want to grab and try and chokehold Steve, real Steve.
yeah.
I'm in such shock and exhausted. I think just no rolls, just do it.
Cool.
I do want you to roll though, because rolling is fun.
Okay, yeah, sure. I was just saying, I'm story wise, I'm comfortable with it, is what I'm saying.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to fight fake Steve again then.
Okay, so you roll to lash out physically, Adam, on Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And Onyx, you roll to lash out physically on not Steve. Steve Taylor?
Steve Taylor?
I've stood up to the fake Steve. Identify yourself. I'm holding out a mic.
I rolled an 8, or I rolled 6 plus 2, 8.
Okay. So you lash out to Steve. And I'm gonna say you do 1 harm on him just because of how volatile you are. And you become your darkest self.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah, right?
Can you read to us what your darkest self is?
Yes. Your body is a prison. You don't belong inside of it. You need to put it in harm's way and make it suffer, just like it's made you suffer. There's got to be a way to cut yourself out of it. You need to meet your makers and hold them accountable for what they've done to you. And should I write a read to how to escape?
No.
Okay, cool.
Oh my god.
So you chokehold fake Steve.
Mm-hmm.
He is chokeholding real Steve.
He's chokeholding real Steve. Sorry,
No.
fake Steve is chokeholding real Steve. He's chokeholding himself. And fake Steve, I would like to think, based on that monologue and based on your darkest self, the idea just keeps going through you of just let this be over, just let this be over, just let me move on. I am imprisoned, I am captured, I am trapped in something I don't want to be in. And as you like viscerally just dig into the neck of this person that you have tried your best to be, and you have tried your best to live according to him and his standards and his life, you feel an attack on you. And Onyx, if you want to roll.
I already rolled and I failed.
Okay, so mark an experience.
I think Josie would also like run towards and try and like separate them, trying to do kind of harm to fake Steve.
Okay.
And still just kind of like screaming, "How did you know?"
Yeah. So then roll a lash out physically, Josie.
Mhm.
Josie's like,
and are
what
you-
about plot point B?
Is that volatile? That you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is.
Man, I am not, for how strong and beefy I'm supposed to be, I am not doing good at attacking people.
You're stressy.
Yeah.
It's a 7.
A 7. Amazing. I am going to say you do them another harm. You do fake Steve another harm.
Mhm.
You were pulling Onyx apart too, right?
I was kind of trying to pull fake Steve off real Steve.
Okay, so yeah, in trying to do that, we'll say that you deal another harm to Steve, or to fake Steve. So you have 2 harms against you in this moment. Josie, I'm gonna need you to become your darkest self.
Okay.
Double duty. So will you read your darkest self to us?
Yes, I will.
Minus the how to get out of it.
Yep. I become invisible, unnoticeable. No one can see me, feel me, or hear my voice. I can still affect inanimate objects, but that is my only avenue for communication.
So you see Josie crying, screaming, red eyes from just the sheer emotion, in a rare explosion of emotion, just tear at fake Steve, pulling him off of real Steve. And as soon as you see fake Steve wince in the pain of her grasp, you see her, boom, blink out of existence.
May I use spirit armor to reduce one of the harm that I took?
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's it. You don't get to use it again, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So
I
you
walk up to
see-
fake Steve. Okay,
Yeah.
you're like choking out real Steve, right?
No, we
He
got
was.
pulled off by
I
you.
was
pulled
I'd
off
be
by
pulled off.
Josie, who just disappeared.
Hey, podcast Steve. Why don't you go find someone else to do your little craven act, because you're not going to find it anymore here with these people, you craven bastard. I'm going to try to hypnotize you.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh man, we're getting
There's
feral.
I love it.
All right, this is a roll with hots.
Do I roll anything?
Mm-mm. I don't think
No,
so.
wait, it says you can hypnotize people who have no strings on you. You don't have a string with you. No, I don't think so.
No, you
I
have strength.
You
I
have a
have-
string on me. Yeah.
So no, I just have to see. Okay, partial success.
You can use your string on him to make it a full success. Just saying.
Oh.
You can also use blamed as
Yeah, you can
well.
also use the blame
Oh.
and
So you can get
Oh. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna use a string and use the blamed.
two. Oh, yeah. What does that make it?
That makes it an 11,
Hell
which
yeah.
means they do exactly what you wish and have no idea that anything is wrong.
Oh shit.
That's as good as the command, like, suggestion.
Purple worm.
Okay. So what do you command, or what do you hypnotize him?
Steve, or whatever you are, I know that you must feel tortured or alone, and you're trying to capture the essence or the experiences of these people, and I to an extent I get that, but these people do not want that to happen to them. We are trying to come together as a community, and you're threatening that. I do not wish to kill you or maim you in any way, but I wish to tell you to leave here.
Yes, Mom. And then I'll turn around and just like pulling away the last pieces of skin on myself, walk into the darkness, away from people, away from everything that I've been trying to build. I've been given an order, and I have to obey it. And you see this, like, after I like rip the last like chunk off myself, you see me hunch down onto all fours and start running off into the forest.
Here's Steve.
I watching that, breathing very heavily, coughing, having my esophagus shattered. And then I look in the direction where I know Josie was. I look over at Onyx, at the blood underneath her fingernails. I look at Vernon, just stopped a raging maniac voice. I say, guess I'm not the only one who has explaining to do.
And,
This is podcast gold.
and we'll fade up over
Josie picks up a piece of trash.
Don't
and
unmute yourself. Don't unmute yourself, Sophie. We don't hear you. Just
Josie
kidding.
picks up a piece of trash and throws it at Vernon.
Yeah. And we all laugh and freeze frame.
I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yep, that's me.
Where did that fountain come from?
You sit with each other as the drone capture cam goes over this art fair, and you see the sprawling wonder that is this community, the lights starting to turn on from the street lamps as darkness falls over the city, and we follow the picture cinematically over the city. We see the train line, we see the green line, we see the green line end, and we find ourselves in the forest near the mausoleum. Steve, not Steve. whoever you are. You've been running and running and running. And you find yourself in the forest near the first time you saw the person who you took the visage of. In a little pocket of the woods, not far from the mausoleum. And you stop. And you feel the breath catch in your lungs, and you haven't really noticed it before. Maybe being alive for just a moment, or at least the concept of being alive, gave you a little gift. And you hear a crack of a stick, someone walking towards you, and you turn. And you can't quite see who it is. The moonlight kind of glows against, silhouetting them. And you just hear the soft voice of your mother speak to you. Hello, my love.
Hello.
Don't be too disappointed in yourself. You tried your very best.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it happen. I tried and tried. They're strong, though. They're very strong.
Yes, I think perhaps we underestimated them. But... Oh, please. Tell me what you've learned. Tell me what you feel.
I understand that I am of no use now. Do with me what you need. There's nothing more.
She walks towards you. And she puts a hand on your shoulder. And for just a moment you see how lovely it is to have skin and nails and life. And she pushes you into the ground. And she steps on your chest. And you feel what you wish was the crack of bone and the piercing of your chest. But in all actuality, just doesn't feel like anything. And you feel the gold leave your eyes. And you return to the dirt that you were made from on this very spot. And she, once you've disappeared, pulls her foot back, steadies herself a little bit, takes a deep breath, and looks into the moonlight. Well, there's always next time. And that's where we'll leave tonight's session.
Nice. Great.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you guys for having me.
Wow.
I was just about
my
to say
gosh.
thank you so much to Adam. This
folks,
is...
can we get a round of applause to Adam? Wonderful guest appearance.
This was
Fantastic.
unfortunately
Truly
Adam.
got under my skin. Truly got under my skin.
Yeah, we will miss you. Definitely. I'm
Ah.
glad that we got to have some overlap. I know we were talking about it earlier, but it just makes it all the much sweeter
Yes.
to have a
Mhm.
confrontation.
Stevie
but thank
Steve.
you, Stevie Steve, not Steve and Steve. Thank you so much for going a little bit extra over just to finish up that arc. Who knows? We have a new villain. Nobody knows. Shrouded in mystery. Maybe it's been the same villain the whole time. But revelations were had.
That
Thank
was
you so
season
much.
finale vibes.
On it, that was arc
arc
one
one
vibes.
finale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's
was arc one
good.
finale.
Arts Fair finale by
Arts Fair finale. Join
one.
us in 2 weeks when we continue with episode 9 of Monsterhearts. Sans, not Steve. But between now and then, we have a lovely continuation of our Teyroth campaign. A Little Help is back on Sundays at a new time, 1 p.m. So if you haven't noticed, 1 p.m. Central Time is our Sunday sessions. On Tuesday, we are back in the world of The Last of Us, just fresh off the cruise ship, with a group in New Orleans who spent the first 3 months of the cordyceps outbreak on a cruise ship and have just now made land and are trying to figure their shit out. And then we are taking a little Thursday break for the holidays next week. So Curse of Strahd will be back in 3 Thursdays. So keep an eye out for that.
Ugh.
We can't
Unless I can
So
convince them to do it
long.
earlier. We'll see.
Yeah.
do a Black Friday Curse of Strahd.
5
Use
a.m.
your Black Friday money to subscribe to us. We will have some subscriber only content coming at you, including but maybe not limited to you getting to watch us open our Secret Santa presents. Who's to say? So yeah, keep a stay tuned eye for all that on all our socials. At CharmedPersons on all major outlets except Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called now. But thank you so much for joining us this far in this ongoing campaign of Monsterhearts. Thank you to the players for being feral and yet still keeping each other safe. We will see you next time, and until then, everybody say bye.
Bye.